Now it's 9:02. We are going to start. So what are we doing today? Okay, where are my notes? If you can see my screen, okay, then you give me a green heart, yeah? Slowly get used to it, okay, because it is something quite new. All right, can see my screen, right? Okay, last lesson, what did we learn? Can you recall? Anyone?
Reproduction in plants.
Yes, very good. Reproduction in flowering plants, in fact. Okay, we talk about, the different parts of the plants, right? I mean, different parts of the flower. Okay, so you know that flowers have the male part and the female part. So we need the pollens from the male part. Okay, where did the pollens come from? Which part of the male reproductive system? Swastika.
Enter.
Yes, from the anther. Anther is actually supported by this very thin thing. What is that thin thing called? Jessian?
Is it called the style?
Is it the
Is it called
style?
the style?
Are you sure it's the style? Vinuli.
Filament.
Filament. Very good. It's the filament, Jessian. Nice try. Okay. The style will be the different, or should I say the other one? The other one that supports the female parts. Okay. I'm going to ask a bit more. Where will the pollen grains land? Wei Le never put our hand. Everybody else put our hand. Wei Le didn't, so I want to call him. Where will the pollen grains land on?
The stigma.
The stigma. Okay, good. So the stigma is actually supported by this thing we call Kenny's. Not called Kenny's, but I want Kenny's to answer. Stigma is actually connected to something. Okay. What do you think that is, Kenny's? Kenny's, remember not, Kenny's? Okay, don't remember. It's okay. Jiaqi?
Where would the pollen grains land?
I repeat myself. Okay, the stigma, which is the female part, right? Okay, it is actually connected by a tube-like thing. What is that called?
Style.
Style. Okay, and after the style, it will reach the
Ovary.
inside the ovary. What do you have?
Ovules.
Okay, can. So I asked almost everything, right now. So just now I said, or I asked you this question, where will the pollen grains land on? And then Wei Le said it's actually the stigma. What is this process known as? Swastika?
Pollination.
Pollination. What happens after pollination?
Fertilization.
Before fertilization? After pollination, something will happen. Jessian, you remember that? After pollination, okay, something is going to happen.
I believe I think I remember it's like there will be like a pollen tube like forming in the stigma.
Yes, okay, not forming in the stigma. Okay, the pollen tube actually forms in the style. Yes or not? Yeah, so the pollen tube forms in the style, and then the male reproductive cells travel down this pollen tube and reaches the ovary, and then where does it go? And then where does it go? I know everybody is trying to look for the notes, looking for, okay, where is it? You might be looking somewhere, textbook, you might be Googling, you might be looking into the video in the portal, okay? After the male reproductive cell reaches the ovary, where will it go to? It will fertilize what? It will
The egg
fertilize
cell?
something.
The egg
It
cell?
will fertilize itself. Okay, Swastika?
The ovule.
The ovules. Yeah. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay. You have not done this topic in school, isn't it? Am I right to say that? You're not doing this topic in school? So you're actually purely trying to remember what was taught to you. Am I right to say that? That's good enough because you are wonderful. You can remember quite a bit of things. And this is going to be useful if you want to take part in the Kahoot later. Yeah? Okay, so now we understand that part, right? So what happens after fertilization? You know that the ovary will swell to form the fruit. And then the ovules will form the seeds. Remember this? The ovules will then become the seeds. So after the fruit and seeds are developed, they will need to be scattered in order to grow well. If they are not scattered away from the parent plants, okay, the seeds will grow too close to one another, leading to this thing we call overcrowding. Okay, just a minute. Let me get my writing pad. Okay, so this thing called overcrowding will happen. Okay. So let me draw for you so you can roughly see how it looks like. Okay. So I'm going to draw on the slides. So imagine this is the parent plant, right? It's like a tree. Okay, so I have all the fruits. Imagine these are apple. These are the apple fruit, all the apples. Okay. So let's say fruits and seeds are not scattered away. That means they just drop to the ground. Okay, so all of them start dropping. All right, when they drop here, they're going to roll, right? Roll down, Perhaps all of them are just like this, very nearby. So in one apple, how many seeds do you see? Do you see just one or a lot?
A lot.
A lot, yeah, correct. So a lot. So all these seeds are very nearby, right? Nearby or near to each other. Okay, so there are many of them. I cannot say that, okay, on one apple tree, I have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 apples. There are more than that. So if they are not scattered, all of them just fall under the tree, very nearby, then you will see a lot of, okay, new apple trees growing. Agree or not? Okay, so you have a lot more behind, around, everywhere. So what happens when these things take place? What do you think will happen when you have too many of these old trees? It will be overcrowded. Yes or no? So where do they get their minerals and water from? From the soil. Where do they get the sunlight from? Okay, so let's say there are so many of them cramping together. You think they have enough sunlight to grow well? No. Okay, so overcrowding actually causes a lot of issue. Yeah, so when these things happen, the trees that grow are not going to be healthy. You are not going to get nice apples. So we want to prevent overcrowding. Okay, imagine if it's humans in a small space, like in a classroom, okay, 40 students is already very cramped. Can you imagine you pack 200 students inside there? Is it going to be comfortable for you? No, not at all. So squeezy. Then you perspire, you touch each other. You don't like, right? Sticky. I also don't like it. Yeah. And then if the fan is not working, you can't breathe well. Everybody is fighting for oxygen with you. Okay. Then you can't move at all because you're so packed. So that is like the effects of overcrowding. You don't like it. It's too cramped. All right. So to reduce overcrowding, there are many methods. Okay, at your level, in your science syllabus, you need to know these 4 methods. They will be tested, okay, in PSLE. So you have wind, water, explosive action. We call it splitting. Why call it splitting? Because I have students who will write down the wrong thing. They say explosion. Okay, so seeds are dispersed by explosion. How to mark correct? Cannot, right? I cannot mark correct. Why? Because explosion is a totally different meaning. You understand? So I will advise students who always make that error to stick to this word splitting. And then lastly, animals. So 4 ways that this is happening. So dispersal. Okay, let's talk about the wind first. Let's say it's wind dispersal. Fruits and seeds dispersed by wind are often dry, hairy, light, or feathery. Some of them have wing-like structures. Have you seen something like this before? Yeah? They are actually very dry, very light. When wind blows, right, they fly. Okay? Even this. This is like the enlarged picture, dandelion. Okay? So when the wind blows, it's going to fly very easily, isn't it? Yeah, so they have structures like that. How about water dispersal? Okay, fruits that are dispersed by water usually float and they are carried along rivers, streams, or sea. They often have fibrous husks. Okay, so these are the important words. Fibrous husk, you have to remember. Or they have the waterproof covering. 2 things about it. Okay, 2 characteristics. Waterproof covering, okay, or fibrous husk. So that will help to trap air. Can you think of something that will float in water? One of the fruits. Swastika?
Coconut.
Coconut. Good. So coconut is one. Anyone else knows? Jiaqi, do you know of something else, Jiaqi? Okay, there's another fruit called pong pong. Not ping pong, pong pong. Right? I have students who write ping pong. Sometimes you hear me say funny things is because I've seen when I'm marking the worksheets, when I'm marking the test paper, exam paper, students will write funny and cute stuff. I'll share with you because sometimes you never know that you might be also another person writing this down by accident. But when I highlight it to you, you will take note. Okay, this is another fruit. Okay, another fruit. It's not coconut, it's something else. All right. Okay, what about this explosion thing that people like to talk about? It's not explosion. Yeah, it really looks like explosion. If I show you the video, you will look at it like, oh, really like explosion, you know. Okay, but we call it splitting. Better. Okay, some fruits will split open when they are ripe. So they are going to shoot the seeds away. Okay. These fruit walls have lines of tension. Okay, so these important words here, lines of tension that pull and curl up. Can you see that they pull and curl up? Suddenly they curl up the walls when the fruit is actually ripe and dry. Do you know what is this? This is one of my favorite, one of my beloved thing when I was young. Do you know this? Just want to share it.
Is it saga fruit?
Yeah, these are the saga seeds. Okay, they are red in color. Okay, and they They are so pretty. Some of them have got this heart shape.